This is not a drill. This is a military occupation on American soil using the American military. Putting our National Guard, activating our National Guard in 19 more states after already having 2,000 troops on the ground in D.C. This is a military occupation, and we cannot stand for it. The time for words has came and gone. It is now the time for actions. As a veteran to this country, as an Army veteran, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, and I will use my rights under that Constitution to speak out against this military occupation. I am looking for other veterans to join me. Here's the only details I'm going to give you. This is not going to be a one-day action. This is going to be a sustained action. So I need you, if you want to join us, to clear your schedules. Number two, this action is going to be happening very, very soon. I'm not giving you any more information. Either you're in or you're out. If you're in and you're watching this on Instagram, I want you to comment, count me in, and I will DM you a link to register. If you're watching this on any other platform, you can go right here, click there, and you can register right there. Calling all veterans, the time is now.
What's up, everybody? So this is what I've been talking about for the last few days. This is why I've been trying to raise money to go to D.C. The call to action has been put out. Veterans are going to answer the call. I am going to answer the call. I am going to Washington, D.C. To meet up with these guys. I've never met Jolly in real life, but we know some of the same people, so I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting him in person, maybe asking him a few questions. So again, that's what I've been talking about. Okay, I've got everything arranged. I called the hotel. The hotel from like Monday or Thursday to Monday is $500, and it's in Northern Virginia. So just to cover that, it's stressing me out. But that's what I'm going for, guys. Okay, so it's not a joke. It's not a drill. We are going to D.C. and we are going to set up camp, and we are not going anywhere anytime soon. Okay, we're going to make our voices heard and our faces seen. Okay, so if you guys want to be part of this, if you can't go out into a protest, if you cannot make it to Washington, D.C., you can show your support in other ways. You can donate to the cause. We have the Linktree has our GoFundMe information in there. You can go to our Linktree and donate there if you want to see us go to D.C. or me go to D.C. I'm the only one that's able to go, and I'll be live streaming and getting a ton of content for extended period of time, at least 4 to 5 days is what I'm planning. So this is not going to be easy. It's going to be dangerous, but we all know the risks and we've all accepted it. So, all right, moving on from that, I just wanted to let you guys know that's what I've been hinting at for the last few days. Tonight we are going to talk about some news stories, but tonight I felt like it should be an educational episode because I feel like not enough people are talking about the parallels between the Trump administration and World War II Germany and the rise of Adolf Hitler. Because the excuse we get all the time when us leftists say that they're building concentration camps, the right's answer is always, well, they don't have gas chambers. So I'm going to prove to you guys tonight that the Germans during World War II, the Nazis did not start with gas chambers. It actually took them 9 years from the time they started putting people in camp until they decided to start mass exterminating people. 9 years. Okay, so just remember that when we tell you guys that these are concentration camps and people are going to die. I feel, personally, this is my personal opinion, that Donald Trump and his administration are running the Nazi playbook. They are running the World War II playbook. So we're going to talk about the rise of Adolf Hitler tonight. Not going to be a pleasant conversation, but I want you guys to see the goddamn parallels between what is happening right now and what happened in 1930s and 40s Germany. History is repeating itself, and if we ignore it, the fascists will win. Do we want a repeat of what happened in World War II? Do we want to see 6 million people or more get wiped off the face of the map? Because I like to remind everybody that these MAGA, the real hardcore right-wing MAGAs, wear a patch that says 6MWE, which stands for 6 million wasn't enough. And referring to how many Jews were slaughtered during the Holocaust. That's what they think. Okay, so if you don't think history repeats itself, it does if you ignore it. It does if you ignore it. This is what happens when you don't properly educate your population on world history. Okay, they don't know any of this stuff. A lot of people don't know anything about 1940s Germany. The only reason I do is because I grew up in a military family, and my mother was born and orphaned as a result of the Nazis in 1943. Okay, my grandmother, who adopted my mom, was a nurse at the hospital. She was forced sterilized by the Nazis, could not have kids of her own because she had a bad leg. Because that's what the Nazis did to people that were disabled in Germany during the 1930s and 40s. They thought disabled people were defective. So they made sure that they could not reproduce. Okay, so I have deep-rooted ties in this, and as a result, I've taken a personal interest in World War II Germany especially. Okay, so, again, I'm not a historian. I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy who is very inquisitive. Okay, and the beauty of today is we have the internet. We have AI. If you don't know something and don't know how to Google search it, ask ChatGPT, for crying out loud. Okay, it's a fact-based system. I know there are flaws in it, but there's quite literally no excuse to not know things in 2025. There is no excuse. If you want to know what the 3 branches of government are, ask ChatGPT. Google it. Just Google it. We need to start teaching people about America civics in America. Okay, we have to start teaching our population how the government works, and we need to start teaching proper world history, not the whitewashed version that the White House wants to produce, because that's what they want to do. They think that the museums are currently portraying white people in too much of a negative light, and that slavery was bad. It wasn't that bad at all, Trump says, and he doesn't want slavery portrayed as being such a bad thing. That's what we're dealing with right now, guys. And Donald Trump and his beautification of Washington, D.C., just so everybody's aware, he is going to request an additional, hold on a second, I got it right here, $2 billion from Congress to beautify Washington, D.C. Catch is that they're only focusing on a 3-mile radius around the White House. I'm pretty sure D.C.'s bigger than a 3-mile radius. So this beautification, I'm going to talk about later, because this is something Adolf Hitler did to Berlin before the Olympics. This was the original propaganda. This is what made the Nazis so popular around the world at the time. This is, of course, before they started slaughtering people. You know what I mean? After that, they were kind of frowned upon, and typically being an anti-fascist in America, for the most part, until recently, was viewed as a positive thing. Like, if you're an American and you're okay with what's going on right now, you should be ashamed of yourself. You have allowed Nazism. Let's not call it fascism. Let's call it Nazism, because they are modeling everything they are doing after what Adolf Hitler did in Nazi Germany. And I'm going to prove it tonight. I went down a rabbit hole, so you guys are coming along for the ride. All right? But before that, I want to talk about some news stories that came up. Donald Trump's health is in the news again. People are extremely concerned about it. And let me show you some pictures here. Not that picture. That's just my background for my computer. But first, we have this. This is Donald Trump's hand. Okay, my mom says, she's a nurse, was a nurse, that this is from an IV. Okay, a lot of doctors are saying that Donald Trump is falling into congestive heart, or has congestive heart failure. The cankles, that image is still being talked about along with this. And I'm not sure if Donald Trump is colorblind, but he does not know how to blend makeup, y'all. I mean, seriously. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Pete, you want to pin my GoFundMe? Can I put that in the comments? I guess I can put that in the comments. Hold on 1 second. I can do that. Shitballs. Where is it? I have it in DC GoFundMe. Hold on. No, that's not the right one. Continue with Google. All right, I'm looking it up right now. I can put it right in the comments. My fundraisers, view, share, copy link, and let me go into the comments here. I don't know if that's clickable or not, but that if you copy and paste that. Also, it's right in our, it's in the link tree, which is in the description of this video. It's also on our or on our channel page. So, but a lot of, all right, so back to this. Thank you, Brina, for that. Back to this. This is, I have another picture. That's not even close to his skin tone. How did they put that on? Or did he put this on? Like, that's why I'm thinking, like, is he colorblind and looked at that and it looked like all the same color? Because that looks like shit. That looks like, that's awful. That's obviously makeup. You can't cover that up. I mean, you need cover up for the cover up. But chances are it's from IV fluids. My mom, if she ever gets an IV in her hand, she bruises really easy. She's around the same age as Donald Trump. That's what happens to old people. Okay, Donald Trump is not invincible. Guys, he's old as shit. That's what makes me laugh when they're like, Trump 2028. I'm like, y'all said Biden was too old to be running for office. You want him to run again. Give me a break. Give me a break, y'all. So anyway, Donald Trump's health has become a major concern, even to the point where Alex Jones is calling it out. And I don't like the platform Alex Jones, but I found it unique that this was on Russian television's Twitter feed. So apparently Russia is also very interested in Donald Trump's health. But this is what Alex Jones has to say.
Because you can see him declining faster and faster. It's not super bad yet. But unlike Biden that was completely shot and had all these brain surgeries and the rest of it, Trump has got great genetics. He's tough. And if he takes care of himself, he can make it through these years and then after. But if he doesn't, he's going to have, I predict Trump is going to have some type of collapse within the next 12 months at the current trajectory. I'm not saying he's going to collapse. I'm saying if he doesn't take his foot off the gas pedal, I guarantee you, and I've got stamina, way better than most people. If I had Trump's job at 51 for a month, I would have a nervous breakdown.
Right, buddy. You got plenty of stamina, more than most. Oh God, these men, like, they feel like they just have to say how tough and strong they are. It drives me crazy. Notice though that he did say genetics. Okay, that's something that the right wing talks about a lot. Donald Trump in the past has mentioned a lot, which I should have grabbed the video for it. I could bring it up on another episode. The horse race theory. He believes, of course, the horse race theory is, you know, fast horses. You breed fast horses, you get a fast horse. Donald Trump believes that's what eugenics is. Okay, selective breeding. Good genes. Do I need to remind everybody of the American Eagle commercial? Good genes. You know what I'm saying? So Donald Trump, he even says it, has good genes. They are very concerned with genetics and eugenics. Okay, so that's just, but yeah, even Alex Jones thinks Trump is dying. All I gotta say is, die faster, motherfucker. God damn it, we are tired of waiting. I'm sorry, this may piss MAGA off, but the day Donald Trump dies, I am going to run down the street in my boxers, screaming and jumping for joy. It will be a day of celebration. As a matter of fact, we're going to make it an unofficial federal holiday. Every year, we're going to celebrate the day Donald Trump dies. You know, probably by natural causes at this point, because he doesn't look good. He doesn't look good. Can't walk straight. He's got bruises on his hands from obviously something. It's not vigorous handshaking like the White House would like, because that's what the White House says. Vigorous handshaking. Okay. And they also want to say the blisters on the inside of his hands is not from syphilis. It's from golfing. Sure. We believe you. We sure do believe you. But, all right, going back to Alex Jones and this shit, like, again, I don't like the platform, these people, but when you've lost these people, you've lost the plot. Here, Nick Fuentes is on Alex Jones's show, okay? And I can't stand this guy. He truly is a Nazi, okay? Hates Israel, hates Jews, loves dictatorships, loves this Nazi stuff. He really does. Even he is turned on Trump, which I find quite amazing because he was one of Donald Trump's #1 bootlickers, one of these right-wing nut jobs. But people listen to these guys. That's the unfortunate part. But the good news is, if they're out there saying Donald Trump is dying and Donald Trump is now the deep state, these moron MAGAs are going to listen to this and they're going to start backing away from Donald Trump. And my theory is when Donald Trump dies, there's going to be a power vacuum at the top. Everybody thinks J.D. Vance is just going to step in there. I have a feeling they are going to tear themselves apart from the inside. Or I could be completely wrong. We'll see. But anyway, here's Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones talking, and just listen to how they talk about Trump now.
I guess I would just say, in general, you say the globalists are coming after Trump. I almost don't know who you're talking about anymore, because who attended Trump's inauguration? It was Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. It was all the big tech and little tech people. I saw a clip from CNN the other day. And a presenter on CNN said Trump is brilliant. He's a mastermind. And what were they talking about? His cover-up of the Epstein files. So it's like CNN and the New York Times. It's like room service journalism for Trump.
I don't know what is with these Alex Jones videos. Why do they have like weird ads in between while people are talking? This is really strange.
Trump, in the middle of this giant scandal, he's walking on the roof and they're saying, Mr. President, why are you on the roof today? Like, who's even resisting Trump anymore? Silicon Valley and Wall Street are in bed with Trump. The Democrats have no resistance. The law enforcement, little tech, these up-and-comers like OpenAI, Palantir, Anduril, these guys are all behind Trump. So
God damn it. I hate when I agree with these people. I hate it. I hate it.
Just kind of look at the whole situation. I survey the whole landscape and I say, I just don't see the resistance. I don't see Trump anymore as a figure that is actually against the globalists. That's a big reason why I turned on him. He's supporting the war in Gaza. He's clearly unwilling to restrain Israel. He's in bed with little tech and big tech in Silicon Valley, and J.D. Vance is the nexus for that. He cut the corporate tax rate and won't deport the illegal laborers on behalf of Wall Street. He's trying to get Jerome Powell to cut the interest rates to charge up the economy. It's like, so I see him basically as part of the system. So when he's bringing these troops out there because of the Democrats, it's like, I think in reality, the National Guard's being deployed because there's going to be a second Iran war. And when there is, there's going to be protests. And I think that's the real reason they're being sent out there.
He is right. I hate to say it. I don't agree with anything this guy says, but right there, he is right. Donald Trump has become quite literally everything that MAGA hates. He is the deep state. He is the swamp. You know what I mean? And they're still supporting it. They're still supporting it. But again, when MAGA leaves, they're not going to leave loudly like they came in. You know how proud they are? You're just going to not see them anymore and not hear from them anymore. You know what I mean? Or if they're on social media and some of these people are going to ride or die with this because it's their nest egg. A lot of these right-wing grifters on social media and TikTok, like Nick Fuentes and Ben Shapiro, Benny Johnson, Alex Jones, Steve Bannon. This is their income. They have to be on board with most of this. Because if they're not, where are they going to go to make their money? You know what I mean? They can't grift anymore. They can't sell their products and their ivermectin and shit. You know what I'm saying? So you're never going to, some of these influencers are just going to, they're either going to disappear or they're just going to keep going. Those are the only two options. But you're not going to hear them. A lot of them are not going to be proudly like, I made a mistake. You're not going to hear that. You're not going to hear that. They're just going to like leave. You know what I mean? It's like the people that you see that had Trump signs in their yard that no longer have them in their yard. That kind of thing. They just quietly back up like, I didn't vote. We remember you. We remember you. There's a lady I used to say hi to all the time. She walks her dogs here. Older lady. Liked her dogs. She's kind of weird. I don't really like her. But she's friends with my mom. She voted for Trump. I refuse to say hi to her now. That's how you should treat them. That's how you should treat them. I don't care. I don't care. They need to be shamed into oblivion. Their future generations need to remember what their parents and grandparents did to this country and to freedom and democracy and civil rights and American history. You know what I'm saying? Like, we cannot let this go lightly because that's what the problem is with America, y'all. We didn't punish the people that participated in the Civil War. The war ended. They went about their business like nothing ever happened. We didn't punish the people that supported the Nazis in the 1930s. We just let them go about their business and reintegrate into society like it was no big deal. That is why we have what we have today. They were never punished. They were shamed, and they realized they were wrong. So what did they do? They just went into the darkness. They went and crept into the shadows until they had an opportunity like this. Until they had a Donald Trump who was willing to go along with this shit. You know what I mean? So this time, I say, we never let them forget. You know what I mean? If you go on a date, one of the first questions you should ask is, who the fuck did you vote for? Because if he says Donald Trump and he's proud of it, run. You see how MAGA men treat women and talk about women and women's rights. Seriously. That's how serious this is. Like, you, even if you're not into politics and didn't vote, you should be asking anyone that you meet, who did you vote for? Because I'm not even joking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not hanging out with a Nazi. I'm not. I want to find out if they are one, so I can let them know how I feel about that. So, yeah, time to start asking that question. I saw a video of a girl who's so frustrated, she was actually in tears because she went on a date, met the guy on the line, and she asked the guy who he voted for. And he got real offended. And then, of course, he said Donald Trump, and she ended the date, which I commend her for doing. But she's crying because she can't seem to find any decent liberal guys in the Midwest. I can imagine that's tough to do. I haven't dated in so long, I wouldn't know. But anyway, besides the point. You know what I'm saying, though? But, like, you guys need to, seriously, you protect yourselves. Protect yourselves. Asking who somebody voted for in this scenario is protecting yourself. The last thing you want to do is get attached to someone and then find out that they support child predators and they hate trans people and they hate brown people and they hate black people. Do you really want to go through all that? Just get it out of the way. Or ask them before you even meet on a date. By the way, one of my requirements is finding out who you voted for. If you don't like it, piss off. You know what I'm saying? No relationship is worth this. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's just not. So, all right, moving on. But again, like I was saying there, Alex Jones is freaking out because Donald Trump's obviously not healthy, okay? Even though back in April, they said he had the health of a college wide receiver. He was like 6'13", 180 pounds ripped. You know what I mean? And now he's half dead. Which is fine. I mean, he's old. He eats McDonald's and drinks Diet Coke all the time. That's quite literally his diet. He does not exercise. Donald Trump doesn't exercise because he thinks your heart is like a battery, and like when you're born, it's already decided how many beats your heart is going to have. This is what this idiot thinks. And his idea of exercise is walking from the golf cart to the ball, hitting the ball, and then walking back to the golf cart. That is quite literally the most exercise Donald Trump gets. Unless he's getting ahead from Laura Loomer. Then he might, allegedly, that might be a little bit more physical activity than he's used to. Sorry, I should have said that. Yeah, I should have. Yeah, I should have. Fuck them, right? So, all right, moving on. We got some more stuff to talk about. Let me get this pulled up. Let me talk about the Trump phone. You guys remember Trump Mobile, right? Well, they're having problems. They put out a new picture of the phone. You guys remember the original picture, right? Cheap-ass phone. It was obviously just AI generated. Not a real phone. So anyway, they decided to post this picture here. The post has now been removed because now they're getting sued. Why are they getting sued? Well, they posted a picture of this phone with a gold case on it. This is what they said the phone is going to look like. The only problem is it's quite literally a Samsung S Ultra series. It's either an S24 or an S25 Ultra picture. Clearly, it's literally exactly the same. Okay, so it's not a Trump American-made phone. That's a picture of a Samsung with a gold case on it. The reason they're getting sued is because these dumb shits without permission, and I can't believe they were not able to Photoshop this out, okay? They left the logo of the manufacturer of the case. Okay, that's not even a real case. It's a fake case they did with the computer and turned it gold and put the T on it and the American flag. But the logo for Spigen is on there, the case or the company that does the cases. So Spigen replied, lawsuit incoming. And you can see down here, it was attached to this post. But since this has now been deleted. See what I mean? It's just a grift. It's just a grift. This is not even a real product that they're selling. This is snake oil. Snake oil. They're selling widgets. Fake things that don't exist. All they sell is hype. Oh, it's an American-made phone. Blah. No, it's not. It's a fucking Samsung, and you put a gold case on it, and you're telling people that it's an amazing new phone that everybody's going to love. It's just, again, it's just stupid. It's stupid. The people that run, that's what makes it so bad. Like, it honestly irks me that the dumbest people possible are in power. Like, why do the fascists in this country also have to be fucking idiots? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have rather had Biden. You know, he's old and mumbles and stumbles and shit, but at least he was a decent guy. I'd rather have an old nice guy than an old predator / fascist who hates democracy and hates Americans. You know what I'm saying? But, all right, anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Getting off topic. I'll just leave this picture up. So let's talk about another news story that I feel like is very important. And then we're going to get into digging a little bit deeper into how Trump and World War II Germany, the administrations, are almost identical. Okay? Abrego Garcia, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, has been released from prison. Okay? He was finally released from a death camp in El Salvador. Now he's been released from prison. However, the Trump administration wants to deport him to Uganda or South Sudan because he wouldn't take their deal. And the deal was, if he pled guilty to human trafficking charges, which are fake and made up, they would have let him go to Costa Rica, I think it is. So now Kilmar Abrego Garcia is free momentarily. Finally, I have a video here of him getting out of jail and being reunited with his family. Let's watch that real quick. Me too, Kentucky. Me too. So this guy's been persecuted because he has brown skin and tattoos. He does not have gang tattoos. He just has tattoos. And he has brown skin. That's why he got deported. That's why. They never proved in a court of law that he was here illegally. They never proved in a court of law that he's a criminal, that he's dangerous. Nothing. Then they didn't do anything. They just put him on, they chained him up, put him on a plane, and sent him to South America to die. It's a miracle that he's back. But now that he's back, they want to send him to Uganda, where he's obviously not from, or South Sudan, which is basically a war zone at the moment. So, yeah, spare me with this, oh, there's no gas chambers at these camps. Okay. So, the Nazis didn't start with, let's get into it, okay? The Nazis didn't start, actually, no, pause. I have something else I want to show you guys. I don't know if you guys know this, but there was a hot mic moment, another one, where Mr. Mike Collins, I don't know where he's from. I forget where he's from. Is it Georgia? Mike Collins. I can't remember. But anyway, hot mic. Not only does Mike Collins admit Trump is in the Epstein files, he also says that Donald Trump is the one that called the FBI on Epstein. Not lying. Listen to the mic, or listen to the audio.
I want to get to ask my question, which was, party unity, the Epstein files. I mean, do you think Trump's in there?
Yeah, I'm sure he's in there. Because he's the one that was telling the FBI about it. He's the one that kicked the guy out of Mar-a-Lago and then called the FBI. Yeah, he's in there.
So, I mean, what's going to happen?
Donald Trump is in the files, and he's the one that called the FBI. According to Representative, a member of our government who knows a lot more than we do, he claims that Donald Trump is the one that narked, that snitched on his best friend, Jeffrey Epstein. That's crazy. That's crazy, right? So that is an update on the whole Epstein file debacle. Of course, Ghislaine Maxwell is like, I never saw them do anything inappropriate. Bullshit. You went to jail. One of the charges you went to jail for is fucking perjury. Like, why are we listening to Ghislaine Maxwell anyway? Why is anybody, like one of these news stations, they're trying to paint her out as the victim? What? Why are we listening to this woman who has been convicted and tried with evidence? Mountains of evidence. Not only is she not in maximum security prison now, though she's in a minimum security prison, and her cellmate apparently, or one of the girls there, one of the women there, voiced their concerns because apparently this prison is for nonviolent offenders. And they had to get a special exception just to get Ghislaine Maxwell in there, which is unheard of. So one of the women voiced their concerns about the fact that there is a child sex trafficker locked up amongst these nonviolent offenders. Guess what happened to her? They sent her to maximum security prison. Not Ghislaine Maxwell. The woman who complained about Ghislaine Maxwell at the minimum security prison got transferred to maximum security prison. What the fuck is going on in America right now? But why are we listening to her and not the victims? We shouldn't be listening to anything that comes out of that fucking lady's mouth. Let her rot in jail. It's where she deserves. For what she did, she did more than 20 years. But no, she's getting special treatment now because she has dirt on the president of the United States. Okay? Yeah. You know she's been holding on to this. And you know she's been holding on to this, waiting for this moment. Allegedly, her former cellmate at the maximum security prison said, yeah, she has dirt on Donald Trump and she plans to use it. So you guys keep believing he's not in the files and had nothing to do with having sex with kids. Keep being in denial, but it's true. You know how I know it's true? Because nobody who accuses Donald Trump of being a pedophile or being in the Epstein files ever gets sued for defamation. Ever. So, it's true. Donald Trump has had sex with underage girls. Say it repeatedly. I'm talking to MAGA because we all know this already. Okay? There's plenty of evidence out there. We are the court of public opinion. We are not the court of fucking law, which is useless. We, the public, have enough information on Donald Trump's dealings with Jeffrey Epstein to make a pretty goddamn good decision on it. You know what I'm saying? It's not conspiracy. It's not conspiracy. These are facts. And I'm tired of us having to wait innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, that's okay. That's for the judicial system. Okay? We can call you guilty. We don't need to wait for the court of law. We have enough evidence. Okay? Our judicial system fucking sucks. Okay? If our judicial system worked, Donald Trump would have never even been on the ballot. He would have been in jail before that. Prison for life for probably espionage and seditious conspiracy for stealing classified documents. Okay? But Merrick Garland, you useless piece of shit, between you and these MAGA voters, that's why we're in the situation we're in. This is why we're in the situation we're in, because our judicial system failed. It took years for Merrick Garland to even appoint Jack Smith. You know what I'm saying? We wasted so much time. So much time, man. They have treated Donald Trump with kid gloves, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Because that's what happens. This is the result. This is the results. Okay? All right, so enough about Mr. Abrego Garcia. Enough about Donald Trump's health. Let's get into how Donald Trump's administration parallels. There's not similarities. They're the same. Okay, they're running the playbook. So let me go ahead. This is going to be a little bit of an educational part of the series here. I'm going to go ahead and read some of this stuff to you. So it's not going to be overly exciting, but there are some stuff or things I wanted to talk about. Okay, so we want to talk about the origins of power, obviously, scapegoating minorities, nationalist myth making, like make Germany great again, which is something that they said. We also want to talk about propaganda and media control. That's where people like Joseph Goebbels comes into play, or in Donald Trump's case, KK Caroline Leavitt. And any right-wing influencer. So the erosion of democratic institutions. The Reichstag fire is an example of that. I'll talk about that as well. And then, of course, the cult of personalities. Donald Trump was, for some reason, he was just this little guy, skinny little nothing of a man. For some reason, people worshipped him. Just like they do Donald Trump. Okay? And then, of course, the legal and policy parallels, like the Nuremberg laws, stuff like that. And, of course, militarization and law and order. Expansion of police powers, militarization of public life as a unifying force. Does that sound familiar to you? Because that's what's happening in Washington, D.C. right now. Okay? So first, I want to go over the rise of Adolf Hitler, if I can find the right email that I typed up. Oh, yeah, I have it on a separate slide. Okay, so I wanted to try and explain how somebody like Adolf Hitler, who was a nobody, rose to power and ended up murdering millions, tens of millions of people. Okay? So between 1914 and 1948, Hitler served in World War I. After the Versailles Treaty, the stab in the back myth radicalized him. Now, I had to look this up. I didn't know what this was. The stab in the back myth is a widely held belief in Germany after World War I that falsely claimed German army was not defeated on the battlefield, but was betrayed by civilians on the home front. Particularly left-wing politicians, socialists, communists, and Jews. Okay, so that's the stab in the back myth, which sounds a lot like what Donald Trump and MAGA talk about all the time. He's weaponized our own population against us. It is exactly what Adolf Hitler did. Okay, so the stab in the back myth is what radicalized him. All right, so that was 1914 to 1918. 1919, he was assigned by the army to spy on small parties. He discovers the German Workers' Party, the DAP, joins it, and quickly becomes its most dynamic speaker. 1920, the founding of the Nazi brand. The DAP becomes the NSDAP. Hitler crafts the 25-point program. In our timeline, it's called Project 2025. Okay, are you starting to see the fucking parallels here? Hitler crafts a 25-point program, adopts the swastika, and centers ultranationalism, anti-Semitism, and anti-Marxism. From 1920 to 1923, tireless mass rallies, simple slogans like "Make Germany Great Again," and scapegoats expand his profile. He forms the SA, which is paramilitary group, aka ICE, to protect meetings and intimidate opponents. Now we go to the attempted coup of 1923, also known as Jan 6th in our timeline. The Beer Hall Putsch. Inspired by Mussolini, Hitler tries and fails to seize power in Munich. He is arrested and the Nazi Party is eventually banned. 1924, he uses his treason trial to gain national attention and receives a lenient sentence from a sympathetic judiciary and portrays himself as a patriot. Are you freaked out yet a little bit? Okay, because, all right, going on. 1924, Mein Kampf and the ideology. In prison, he dictates Mein Kampf, fixing his worldview. Racial hierarchy, Führerprinzip, which means leadership principle, excuse me, my German is a little rough, Lebensraum, and total rejection of democracy. Then in 1925, upon release, he builds the now legal Nazi Party to win power through elections and not coups, while still relying on violence and intimidation at the street level. Okay? Organizational machine in the mid-1920s. He centralizes a modern party. He goes after women and youth and establishes the SS as an elite bodyguard and a propaganda apparatus, which is Joseph Goebbels. So just to take a quick break, I want you guys to see, and this is the guy I usually compare to Stephen Miller. They even look the same, don't they? This is Goebbels. Don't he look like Stephen Miller? I'm telling y'all. Dude's a Nazi. Dude is a Nazi. Goebbels was a German Nazi politician and philologist. What the hell's a philologist? Study of language and oral and written. All right, whatever. Who was the district leader of Berlin, chief propagandist for the Nazi Party. So instead of Goebbels, right now we have corporate media and right-wing influencers. Okay, so we don't have Goebbels. We have social media. We have AI. We have entire news networks dedicated to the propaganda. Okay? But back then, he was in charge of it all. He was one of Adolf Hitler's closest, most devoted followers, known for his skills in public speaking and his virulent anti-Semitism, which was evident in his publicly voiced views. He advocated progressively harsher discrimination, including the extermination of the Jews during the Holocaust. Now, this also ties into Israel, because Israel, the people there, most of them, the originals, are descendants of the German Jews who mostly voluntarily. There was a group of German Jews, the Zionists, who truly did not feel like they belonged in Germany. They felt like they belonged in the homeland, which to them was Palestine. That's why they went there. But they continued to, some of them continued to trade with the Nazis while all of this was going on. It did eventually stop, but Instead of staying and fighting for their fellow Jews, they decided to leave. But again, we've had Donald Trump and his administration talking about self-deporting, right? That's the first option before they deport you. You have the option to self-deport. So that's what the German Jews did. They self-deported, and they ended up in Israel, which we see what happened with that. We're not going to talk about that tonight, okay? So again, the Nazis did not start with gas chambers. So let's look at a timeline of the Holocaust. All right. 1933, Adolf Hitler is appointed Chancellor of Germany. 2 months later, Dachau concentration camp opens, aka Alligator Alcatraz. Okay. And then the Gestapo is established in April of that year. ICE. Also the local police now, and if the military is dumb enough, them too. They will be remembered for being Nazis. Okay? So 1934, Hitler proclaims himself Führer. So 1933, this all starts, right? They don't start mass exterminating people until 1942. Okay? It never started with gas chambers. It started with camps for people they don't like. And then 9 years later, gas chambers, mass shootings, buried alive. Okay, this is not a fucking joke anymore, okay? If we don't stop this right now, that's why I'm so desperate to get to DC. If we don't stop this shit right now, 9 years or less, this could be us. Do you want to be sitting on the sidelines for this? And then a decade later, you're going to be like, God damn it, I should have did something. Tens of millions of people are fucking dead because I didn't do shit. Do you want to be that person? Okay, I understand some of you don't want to be involved. This has nothing to do with politics, y'all. This is beyond politics. This is about our very way of life, our survival, our freedom, our civil liberties, the Constitution of the United States, and the oath that we take to it as military members and veterans. Again, the president is mentioned in that oath, but it also says the UCMJ, which is the United States Code of Military Justice. So if Donald Trump gives an order that violates the laws of the UCMJ or violates the Constitution, the military is obligated to not follow that order. That is why that exists. So if a dictator starts telling you to attack Americans when you're supposed to be protecting us, that's your job. That is your job. You should be protecting us. Instead, you're out in the streets with weapons. With fucking weapons. This is a negative outcome situation. Okay? Unless we do something about it. Okay? Like I said, I have to get to Washington, D.C. We have to stop this at the source. We cannot allow this to expand to other cities. It's going to, regardless if we go or not. But God damn it, guys, it's time. Like Jolly said at the video at the beginning of the show, like, the time for action is now. You're going to suffer regardless if you participate in this or not. That's what I'm saying. Like, every American is going to suffer as a result of Donald Trump's policies and his administration. So my question is, do you want to suffer on their terms, or you want to take this shit into your own hands? And you're probably still going to suffer, but at least you're going to suffer on your own terms. I can't sit by and let this shit just happen. I can't. It's not in me, okay? It's not in me to not do something about this. Again, I feel like I'm one of those people that's always been looking for a cause. My whole life, I've been lost. My whole life, I have been so lost. I had no idea what my purpose was in life. I really had no clue what I was doing. Until now. Until now. This is the cause that I will quite literally die for if I have to. Okay? Sometimes you just got to stand on business, and sometimes you just got to stand up for what's right. Okay? We have to be there. We have to help the people that can't help themselves, and we have to make our voices heard while we still have the right to do so. Does that make sense? Like, it's time. The time for action is now. So again, I'm going to D.C. Thursday. I'm staying the night. If I have to sleep in my car, I'm going. I don't fucking care, guys. I don't care. I'm going regardless. But I would honestly prefer to sleep in a bed. So again, I'm just going to throw it out there. If anybody would like to donate, I put that in the comments, the GoFundMe. Plus, you can always find it in the link tree, which is in the description of the video, or on our channel page. All the proceeds or all the donations go towards the trip. The hotel alone for 4 days is $500. For 5 days, it's like $500. I'll camp in the streets if I have to. I'll probably get mistaken for a home. I might need bail money too, so like y'all might consider that. You know what I mean? Donating for bail money in case I get arrested for protesting, because that could happen. That could happen. We're quite literally going into a militarized zone. But yeah. But I think that's what has the administration so freaked out. Every time they see more and more people showing up, they're confused. They're like, why are these people resisting? Why are they revolting against this? I don't understand it. So that's what we have to keep doing. We have to keep the pressure on, and we have to keep going. So again, if you guys can help, man, I greatly appreciate it. I'm really struggling to raise money for this. I know I've asked you guys a ton of times before, always for a good cause. You guys have always been there for me. I love you all. I love my community that we've built, me and Mike and James. You know what I mean? And we have a lot of plans. There's going to be more and more content, and we're going to go harder in the paint. We're tired of, we got to take the gloves off. And you larger networks, like Midas is starting to do it. Midas is starting to call out the Nazi stuff, and I really appreciate that about them. They're even calling out the Israel stuff, which is good. But we need to start being a little harsher with our words and not worried about ad revenue and sponsorships, because this is more important than making fucking money. You know what I'm saying? That's why I turned ad revenue off for our episodes. I tried to turn it on to see if it would help push our episodes. It doesn't. And then I would just get in trouble for a video or something I say. So I would just rather turn ad revenue off and just say what I want. That's why I created this channel in the first place, is I would needed a place to just say what I want to say. I had so much stuff in my head, I needed to get it out. So, thank you guys for all your support. If you know anybody that might be interested in donating to the cause, please let me know. Also, don't forget, there's supposed to be a massive, massive nationwide protest on the 1st, which I'll be in D.C. I'm in contact with Carlos Alvarez Arenos. He was on the show from American Opposition. I'm talking about meeting up with him down there and shit. Jolly Good Ginger's going to be down there. There's a lot of other influencers that are going to be there. Matt, USMC Angry Veteran, he's going to be down there. So, like I said, it's just something that I have to do. This is my time. This is my calling. And this is what I'm going to go with. So thank you guys all, again, for your help. It is very appreciated. I just want you guys to know that. I don't like asking people for money. I don't. It feels weird. I have my own reasons for that. You know what I mean? Some people don't mind grifting and doing all that shit, and I'm not grifting. I hate saying it that way, but that's what I feel like sometimes, asking for money. I just don't like doing it. But anyway, you guys have kept us afloat. You guys have helped us get to every event. And, yeah, this is going to be the big one for me. So I love you guys. I do. I'm sorry. I'm just ranting at this point. I'm not even talking about shit. I'm not even talking about anything. I just wanted to try and express. Sometimes I lack the vocabulary to really articulate myself properly, even though that sentence sounded really good. But you know what I mean? But I just want to try and somehow express my gratitude to you guys. Like, I really don't know how to tell you the amount of appreciation I have for you. Because I wanted to quit. After Donald Trump got elected, I called Mike. I'm like, we're done. We're fucking done, dude. And honestly, it's because of you guys that we're still here. You know what I mean? It means something to me. It means something to me that you guys listen to what we have to say, and that you're there for us every episode. Like, you guys are hanging out in the comments. You know what I mean? Brain is out there weeding through all the comments. She's an amazing moderator. And also, if you guys want to be on the show, if you guys have something you want to say, this is about getting your voices out there, man. Everybody's opinion on this scenario is important, I think. All right, now's the time for us to speak up, not stay quiet. So, all right, getting back to topic at hand. So we talked about the timeline of the Holocaust. So again, it took 9 years from the time they built Dachau, before they started mass exterminating people. And so again, MAGA, if you're out there listening, the Nazis did not open shop one day and then start gassing people the next. It's not how it worked. It worked like it's happening in America. Okay, if you want to know how it worked in Germany, it's happening right now in America. It starts with the camps, it starts with deportations, and then eventually people die. Okay? Because eventually they're not going to want to feed them. They're not going to want to spend the money to give them proper medical care. It's just easier for them. You know what I'm saying? And I need people to stop pretending like, oh, there's no way they're going to do that. You need to get that that state of mind gone. Okay, because I've heard people say that'll never happen in America so many times, and then I watch it happen. The camps, the weaponization, the military on the streets, all that stuff Mike and I have been calling for 2 years. Everybody's like, you're crazy. You're being extreme. Now, looking back, I don't think we were extreme enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we were extreme enough. I really don't. All right, anyway, going back to this, let's go back to the rise of Adolf Hitler. So, but waiting out prosperity, 1924 to 1928, during the economic recovery, the Nazis remain kind of on the fringe. Hitler keeps sharing his message in national infrastructure. Great Depression, global collapse devastates Germany, mass unemployment discredits mainstream parties, and the Weimar Party, or democracy, which was a very loose democracy that Germany had at the time before the Nazis took over, kind of like in America, very fragile democracy. So this opened up space for radical solutions. Okay, 1930 to 1932. Okay, 2-year period. Nazis leaped from marginal to major party by promising jobs, order, and national revival. Pretend for a second I'm not talking about the Nazis and tell me this is not America word for word. Please. Please do that. Please. Okay, Hitler's airplane campaign and radio presence makes him kind of a focal point for Germany. Okay, propaganda. So he courts conservative elites, industrialists, middle class, and promises to smash the left while projecting respectability. Okay. Hitler loses in 1932 to President Hindenburg, but proves mass appeal. Political deadlock follows, and the elites fear civil war more than they fear Hitler. That's America. Okay? How much did we hear about civil war over the last 4 years from MAGA? You know what I mean? And then our government, our judicial system, feared civil war more than they feared Donald Trump at the time. Okay? Okay, conservative power brokers convince Hindenburg to appoint Hitler the chancellor, thinking that they can control him with a cabinet of conservatives. So think Donald Trump's first term, where he had qualified people that told him no. Okay, that's what this is. Okay, so the Reichstag fire. Reichstag fire enables the Reichstag fire decree, suspending civil liberties and crushing opponents, followed by the Enabling Act, which let Hitler rule by decree. So he pretty much just says, I'm the leader now. You got nothing to say about it. You can't do shit about it. Okay? So the Reichstag fire widely was thought, even to this day, that it was started by Hitler. You've heard me refer to the Reichstag fire several times on the show because I keep saying that Donald Trump is looking for his Reichstag fire moment. He is looking for the moment where he can declare martial law. That's why he's pissed that the peaceful protesters are remaining peaceful for the most part. The occasional Subway sandwich being thrown. James posted, he said that cop saw his lunch flash before his eyes. That shit's funny. Okay, so anyway, after the Reichstag fire, Hitler blames the leftists, thugs, the communists, Marxist radicals, okay, and just declares himself king, essentially. Okay, and then I want to go to why the Olympics how the Olympics come into play, because I know you guys keep hearing me mention how the Olympics was the reason for American Nazism. I still believe this to this day. Let me go ahead and show you guys why. The Nazi Olympics in Berlin in 1936 was 100% propaganda. This was an opportunity. This was during the Great Depression, where there was bread lines, people, no jobs, like people were starving in the streets. In America, all over the world, this was a global problem, the Great Depression. It wasn't just America. Hitler pours all his money into the beautification of Berlin. Again, sound familiar? Beautification of DC, beautification of Berlin. Make America great again, make Germany great again. They're one and the same. We are seeing the Fourth Reich take place in front of our eyes, and most of us are pissed. At least I am. That I'm sitting behind a computer right now and not in the streets. Like that's what bothers me the most every day, is that I'm not out in the streets. I love talking to you guys and I love doing this podcast, but honestly, I feel like I'm not doing enough. Okay, so anyway, they put all their money into beautifying Berlin. So when all the world shows up for the 1936 Olympics, they see Berlin during the Great Depression, and they're like, oh my God, it's gorgeous here. The Nazis and Adolf Hitler must really know what they're doing. We should start listening to him. That is how Nazism in America started. After the Olympics. Probably before, but it picked up a lot after the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? So then, eventually, I believe it was 1939, we have an American Nazi party doing a rally at Madison Square Garden, which Donald Trump also did a rally at Madison Square Garden, which was an homage to the 1939 Nazi rally. Americans got packed into Madison Square Garden. All of them were pro-Nazi. So however many people you could fit in that stadium at that time gathered together proudly, faces shown. I have video. There is video evidence of this. All in Madison Square Garden doing the Nazi salute and praising Adolf Hitler in America. And again, major mistake. We never properly punished these motherfuckers for being Nazis. After World War II, they should have went after these people and at least, you know, give them a stern talking to, let's say. So, again, the beautification of D.C. is exactly the same as the beautification of Berlin during the 1930s. It was propaganda. Okay? That's all it is. That's all it was. And it worked. It worked. Again, think 1930s, there's no internet. Word of mouth and newspapers is where you got your information from. So if you want somebody that went to Germany and then came back to the United States is like, oh my God, it's so beautiful there. And the stuff they were saying, I just kind of just was really agreeing with, you know, and I hate Jews and I hate black people. So I love this guy. So like word of mouth. And there was no way to fact check. There's no way to fact check. You know what I'm saying? Like, propaganda back then, basically leaflets and radio commercials and shit like that. Like, that's how they spread propaganda back then. But now we have entire news networks. Fox News, Newsmax. What's the other one? I can't even remember. OAN. And then you got other countries joining in on the propaganda. We got, I'm not going to say Germany. We got Russia. Okay, we know for a fact that they used their propaganda machine to help Donald Trump win in 2016. We know that Netanyahu is using the propaganda machine to try and tell us that people are not dying in Gaza. And, it's like the entire world is like, you're bombing kids. And then Netanyahu's response is, well, Hamas is underneath the kids. You know what I'm saying? And Netanyahu, he's doing the same thing. He is running the Nazi playbook as well. Not just Donald Trump. There are more people in this world. I mean, the genocide in Gaza is proof positive that the German Jews that left the Nazis and came down here brought the Nazi ideologies with them. That's what Zionism is. That's why I don't like, you know what I mean? I always have to try and make sure everybody knows there is a massive difference between Judaism and Zionism. Just like there's a massive difference between Christianity and MAGA Christianity and their white Jesus. They're not the same. And the people are not the same. You know what I mean? There are tons of Jews all across the world, even in Israel, protesting against what's happening right now. So, again, but think about this, though. Think of how we are seeing around the world right now. Just for a second, all right, so we see what Netanyahu's doing, okay? And there's a lot of people that cannot distinguish the fact that, Netanyahu does not represent Israel. He represents a small fraction of the people of Israel. Okay, so the world sees us the same way. They see how dumb and stupid and just corrupt Donald Trump is. They just assume that that's how all Americans are. Donald Trump is our representation. A child predator who's assaulted multiple women, who's best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, who stole classified documents. He is the representation of the best of us. Thanks a lot, MAGA. Dumb fucks. God damn it. Americans are embarrassing. Yes. Fontucky, I would like to apologize on behalf of America, on behalf of the sane part of America. I would like to apologize to the rest of the world. We are trying to do something. We kind of don't know what to do because our politicians that we voted for to stop this are useless sacks of shit. Okay, so we are still trying to figure out how the fuck we navigate this. You know what I mean? And it sucks. And I apologize. Yeah, Cadillac is right. It sucks. So we do apologize to the rest of the world. We will take care of it somehow. Give us time. We're still trying to figure this out. I think too many people were staying in the state of denial of oh, this can't happen in America. Sure. All right. So that was the rise of Adolf Hitler. If you want me to read that again, we'll just pretend it's a generic, some generic talking points, and you tell me who you think I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like if I didn't tell you I was talking about Adolf Hitler and World War II Germany, you probably thought I would have been talking about Trump. Seriously, all the things that I read off, you would have been like, are you talking about Donald Trump? Well, if the shoe fits, you know what I'm saying? So there's other proof. I showed you guys the post. I don't know if I still have it. Let me see if I still have it. We're going long tonight, dude. I am feeling good, and I'm probably going to get banned from YouTube for this episode, but you know what? It's totally worth it. I don't think I have it anymore. Damn it. Did I delete all this stuff? I gotta stop doing that. No, there it is. I got it. Can somebody teach me how to organize this shit? Because my filing system sucks. My videos and pictures are just freaking everywhere. Okay, so I showed you guys this post. Everybody thought I was you're being too reading too much into it. Okay, a heritage to be proud of and a homeland worth defending. Notice the random capital H in homeland and capital H in heritage. HH stands for Heil Hitler. This is the Homeland Security official Twitter page. I am not paranoid. I am not a conspiracy theorist. Okay? If you don't believe me, let's go even further down this rabbit hole, okay? The number 88 comes up a lot in Donald Trump's world. He says the number 88 quite often when he talks, and when he needs to refer to a random number, he diverts to the number 88. I have 2 videos I'll show you, perfect examples. Okay, the number 88, or the 1488. If you see 1488, and this is from the Anti-Defamation League, for crying out loud. Okay, so if you see 1488 or the number 88, that is a Nazi dog whistle. That's what neo-Nazis used when they were in the shadows. This is back when like 4chan became a thing. Okay, they can't come out and say, "Hey, I'm a Nazi." They had to do coded messaging because universally Nazism was seen as a bad thing until this year. Okay, so 88 is a white supremacist numerical code for Heil Hitler. H is the 8th letter of the alphabet, so 88 equals HH equals Heil Hitler. One of the most common white supremacist symbols, 88 is used throughout the entire white supremacist movement, not just neo-Nazis. One can find it as tattoo or graphic symbol as part of the name of a group, publication, or website. Keep an eye out for that. Okay, it even sometimes is used as a greeting or sign-off, particularly in messages on social networking websites. Do you guys remember the woman that called the little black kid the N-word? And she raised like $1 million? Yeah, people were donating $88. Okay, so this is a very common thing among the right. Not common amongst us, because like if you're not paranoid and shit like me and look into everything, you wouldn't know about these coded messages. And I probably sound like a crazy person. I probably do to some people. And honestly, I don't care because I'm right. I am right. I am not even off on this by like a hair. I am 100% on the button with this. Okay? I've been unsure of everything my entire life. I am not unsure of this. I am 100% positive that Donald Trump, his administration, and the White Heritage Foundation, because that's what heritage means in the Heritage Foundation. They mean white heritage. They are trying to turn America into what Adolf Hitler did to Germany. Policies and all. Not just the racism, the oppression that comes along with it. Okay, we're seeing it play out in front of us. We cannot be in denial anymore that this is really what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So again, on Twitter, you'll see this number all the time. But if you're on Facebook or something like that and you see somebody throwing up a random 88 or 1488, just know that's what they're referring to. That's the only thing that means. Okay? Again, I'm not crazy. If you want proof, I'll show you the videos of Donald Trump referring to the number 88. Okay? Oh, also, side note, the flagpoles, the magnificent, bestest ever flagpoles, are exactly 88 feet tall. You know how mad I was seeing that shit when I went, because I was in D.C. a week and a half ago. You know how fucking pissed I was seeing that on the White House lawn with an American flag on it? That's intentional, okay? They didn't just accidentally use an 88-foot flagpole. It's not like they called the flagpole company and was like, hey, well, what measurements do you have? And they're like, oh, well, we have an 88-foot one. Come on. All right. Come on. It's not a coincidence. It's not an accident. They have an 88-foot flagpole on the White House lawn with an American flag draped off of it. Fucking Nazi cunts. I'm sorry. I'm so sick of it. But again, Donald Trump uses the number 88. When he needs a default number to refer to, he always goes with this. Here he is on his plane talking about medication. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Elon Musk. He's talking about like Ozempic and stuff like that. But again, I know this is just random conversation, but the use of the number 88 is important.
That was interesting. He said he was very concerned that I might use his name. It might slip.
Oh, God, you can't hear it. Can you? Oh, wait, my head.
But he went to London, and he bought this...
Ozempic, Wegovy, one of those?
I guess, yeah. I'm not sure which one. But he bought one of them, maybe Ozempic. and he bought it, and he called me. He said, hey, strange thing happened. I just bought a drug, same company, same plant, same everything. Everything was the same. In one case, I paid in New York $1,300, and in London, I'm paying $88.
Random, right? Maybe I'm paranoid. Maybe I'm paranoid. Or maybe I have another video of Donald Trump using the number 88. Here he is, while talking about the flagpoles and tariffs. Because, yeah, that's what you talk about, flagpoles and tariffs as a president of the United States. This is so stupid. But here he is talking about how much tariff revenue they've brought in. And again, this is at the flagpole ceremony of the 88-foot flagpole. And yes, I'm going to keep using that number. I know I keep repeating myself, but I'm trying to bash it through everybody's head. Because I'm not crazy on this one. I am 100% absolutely correct and on the money with this. Okay, so here he is talking about tariffs and all that shit. And he uses the number 88 again.
It's a shame. This guy, do you ever have a guy that's not a smart person and you're dealing with him and you have to deal? He's not a smart guy. He's worried about inflation. I said, that's right. If there's inflation in 6 months or 9 months, you lower the rates or you raise the rates. You can do whatever you want, Brian, right? So let's say there's rampant inflation, which there's none. You know what there is success. I got a call from Congress last night. Sir, there's a problem. I said, what is it? Money is pouring in. We don't know how to account for it. I said, check the tariffs. $88 billion came in from tariffs. No inflation.
What? Oh my God, is Jeremy just fucking right on this whole thing? I've called this shit! I'm so tired of fucking people not listening to what we say. I'm sorry. It pisses me off to no end that we make these videos and we only get 100 views, 200 views. Occasionally we'll get 1,000 views. We have no idea how to get this message out there. But tell me, maybe you think I'm crazy. Maybe I am. No, I'm not. I'm right on this. I will die on this hill. I am right. We have been right all along. Mike and I have called this shit from day one. Day one. When I met Mike, I was already talking about Project 2025. It was over almost 2 years ago we started this. October coming up will be our 2-year anniversary. I had already started researching Project 2025 before I met Mike. And Mike was like, why are you so obsessed with Project 2025? And then he read it. And he was like, holy shit. Okay, we cannot ignore the parallels. Because we got people. Donald Trump is an idiot, and he's probably going to die soon. It's just, I'm not being a dick, but, you know what I mean? He is. He's unhealthy, obviously. They're covering up his health. Something's wrong. Something's wrong, and they're not telling us. The people behind Donald Trump, though, are not stupid. The White Heritage Foundation, even J.D. Vance, okay, they're very evil, and they are working behind the scenes, just like Palantir. Palantir is very quietly monitoring all of us to the point where they actually want to predict. This is the thought police. They want to use AI to detect irregularities in your patterns, in your daily behaviors, and try and predict what you do next. That's how you control the population. What happens if they start arresting people for things they think they're gonna do? Like, seriously, what happens if you get a knock on the door one day and it's the cops? And they're like, well, we didn't like what you posted yesterday. It was a little bit out of, we're just a little concerned about it. We'd like to take you downtown and talk more about it. And then eventually, you're in a camp. In Nazi Germany, they used to call them re-education camps, where they would take like German military and civilians that did bad things and they would re-educate them, basically torture them. This is America. This is Nazi America. It's no longer the United States of America. This is, you call it fascist America, whatever you want to call it, but this is Nazi America. You're seeing the beginning of the Fourth Reich. This is not something to be taken lightly. And this is not something we can just sit by and watch. That's why I get so mad. Like, I can't even enjoy myself anymore, guys. The only time I get any joy in my life is when I'm playing video games, hanging out with my animals, or talking to you guys. Other than that, I'm pissed off all the time. I have been radicalized. I myself have been radicalized, but for the forces of good. That is a thing too. Before Donald Trump, before January 6th, I probably couldn't even name the 3 branches of government. I couldn't tell you how anything worked. Nothing. But once I saw an insurrection happen, I started paying attention. And the deeper I dig, and the more I find, the more concerned I get. Because again, like Donald Trump is just their poster boy. He is the personality they needed in order to get into office. Now that the White Heritage Foundation has J.D. Vance second in command, J.D. Vance is Kevin Roberts, again, the White Heritage Foundation's pick. That's why J.D. Vance. Nobody knew why J.D. Vance was picked to be VP. That's why. Because people like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and the White Heritage Foundation wanted him there. And here's the problem, okay? If Donald Trump kicks the bucket or whatever and is out of office, it's going to get worse. And let me explain why. Donald Trump is doing this all because he wants the world to see him as a king. Like, he truly sees himself as a king, a monarch, a ruler, you know, somebody that people should worship. But everybody below him, the MAGA Christians, the Christian nationalists, they are true believers in all of this shit, dude. They are true believers in this white Jesus fucking, you know, we're superior because we have better genes because we're white. You know what I mean? That's the kind of shit we have to look forward to if we don't stop this. Okay? I'm tired of people beating around the bush. Okay? The parallels are there. If not identical, I don't even want to say it's not similarities. This is identical to what happened in Nazi Germany. The only difference was Hitler started off as a nobody and Donald Trump has been rich his whole life and in the press, so everybody knew who he was. You know what I'm saying? Everything is the same. And if we don't stop it now in Washington and this spreads across the country, 5 to 10 years from now, we could be talking about how Donald Trump and his administration murdered millions of Mexicans or black people or Jews, because eventually they're going to go after the Jews too. Because the right wing, that's the Hitler thing. They're anti-Semitic. They are the definition of anti-Semitic. Us calling out Israel, not anti-Semitic, because we're not saying, oh, all Jews are bad because Israel's doing this. That's how the right looks at it. Okay, we have the ability, the critical thinking skills to be able to differentiate the different groups. You know what I'm saying? But if we don't stop this, 50 years from now, the history books are going to be saying how America turned into the Fourth Reich, how Donald Trump became the next Adolf Hitler, and how democracy fell to a bunch of fucking clowns. We cannot let this happen. We can't. We cannot. My dad died in 2011. And honestly, I am so happy he's not here right now. He fought in 2 wars. 2 wars. 22 years in the service. Fought in Vietnam as a kid and Desert Storm. Fought for other people's freedoms in other countries. I served myself, but my military career was garbage. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything important. That's why I don't talk about it that much. But I go to represent my father more than I do myself, because I know my father would be in the streets right now. I guarantee my father would be in the streets. He'd be in his 70s. I know he would. I know he would. So I am doing this for him, because I think this would make him, he would be proud of me for doing this. Like, I really messed things up with my dad before he died. And, you know what I mean? If I have a chance to do something to change things for the better, it would finally give me some peace of mind that I did something that would make him proud. You know what I mean? But Give me a second. Yeah, so again, I'm going to D.C. to stop this. Not physically. We're going to protest, obviously. We're not giving out any details, obviously, for obvious reasons, security concerns. But we are going to be everywhere. And people like Jolly have a whole lot. He has millions of followers. You know what I mean? So we're going to get the word out one way or another. So again, please help me get to D.C. Okay? This is not a one-day trip. This is not going to broadcast the protest and come home. I'm going to set up camp and stay for as long as possible. If I can stay 3 days, great. If I can stay 2 weeks, I'll do it. I will do it. That's how important this is. Okay? Thank you all for watching tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys learned something. I did while trying to research this episode. And any support is greatly appreciated. I don't think I put my Cash App in the description of the video, but our GoFundMe is in the link tree, which is in the description of this video. It's on our home channel page. Please donate to the cause. All the donations go towards this DC trip, and I will be live streaming as much as possible. And y'all know me. I'm going to get in the thick of it. Okay? I'm looking for the action. And I'm going to get it to you. And I could get arrested. That's the crazy part. For exercising my First Amendment rights, my constitutional rights, I could go to jail. I could get deported. That's real. I mean, you guys, it might sound crazy, but I could get deported. You know, they're calling us communists now and hippies. So, you know what I mean? They're deporting American citizens. They're rounding people up just because. So it could be me. But I am okay with it. I started this year off kind of accepting the fact that I probably will be arrested at some point this year for this, just for protesting peacefully. So thank you guys so much. If you can help, great. Thank you so much. If not, I understand. Times are tough. I get it. But you can help by subscribing to the channel and sharing this video. Thank you guys for all the comments tonight. It was a good show. This turned out a lot better than I thought it would. So, yeah, have a good night. And I will be back on with Mike, and Brandy is coming back on tomorrow. Brandy from TikTok. We're going to be talking about the 2024 election. This time we're going to be giving our personal opinions on it. We're going to be using data, but we're also going to be using common sense, and we're tired of being told not to believe our own eyes. I'll just leave it at that. So Brandy will be back on the show tomorrow. Then James and I, Casey might come back on Monday. I asked her to come back on. So we'll be back on 9 o'clock Monday. And then Liz Mkhitaryan, founder of Stop Moms for Liberty, is coming back on the show on Tuesday at 9 o'clock. And we're going to be doing an education episode because Donald Trump and them are destroying our education system. Even more so than it's already fucked. They're just destroying it, putting it into a coma. And then Wednesday night, I am hopefully leaving for D.C., Thursday morning at the latest, hopefully. So I got to call and get my hotel reserved. So it's like $500. But that's actually not bad for 4 or 5 days. So, and it's in Virginia. So I love you guys. A lot of content coming in. So next weekend, most likely, is going to be me on the streets of D.C. I'm going to be live streaming on as many platforms as I can, too. So now that I've hit 30,000 followers on Facebook, I will be live streaming there. Of course, on YouTube. I'm going to try and do Twitch and Kick as well. I don't get a lot of interactions on Twitch or Kick, so I may just not do that. Instagram, for sure. TikTok can eat a bag of dicks. I'm not even bothering with TikTok anymore. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of in real life, on the streets content of D.C., the militarized zone. So it should be interesting. And my mouth is going to get me in trouble because I'm going to say something to somebody that's going to really piss them off. My mouth is my own worst enemy sometimes, guys. All right, love you guys. Have a good night. I'll talk to you guys.